This is Sabrina Hurd, ID number 3107378. This is my AVMA video project for Intro to Veterinary Technology, section 31424 for fall semester 2016. I'm going to show you how to trim the nails on a dog. This is Knuckles. She's going to be our subject for today. So first of all, you need your equipment, properly sized nail trimmers, dog nail trimmers, as well as a clotting agent, whether that's quick stop or silver nitrate. That's in case you accidentally trim a little too far on the nail and you nick the quick, which is where the blood vessels are, and it starts to bleed. You can use this to facilitate clotting, so you would just dip the bleeding nail into this, kind of cake it on, and that will help it to form a clot. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you. So Knuckles is sitting, which is perfect. You can do this with one or two people depending on the dog's temperament. Knuckles here is really sweet, so but I have Dahlia here helping me. She's just going to keep her sitting so that this goes a little more quickly and easily. Hold still, baby.
Sit, Knuckles.
Knuckles wants to say hi. Say hi. Good girl. Yes. All right. You want to show them? So we're going to lift up this front paw. Her claws are dark, so you want to stay. It's okay, baby. You want to stay above the natural curve of the nail. That is where the quick generally starts. And Dolly's doing a good job distracting her. Good girl. Now we've kind of got her up against a wall, which helps. There we go. There's one nail. Good girl, honey. There you go. Okay, so Dahlia's kind of got her tucked into her chest there, which is a really good position. It's controlling the head. Got two nails. Okay, so we're going to try something different. Dahlia, I'm going to get you to restrain her by standing behind her.
Okay.
Against this wall. You're going to straddle her, actually.
Okay.
And just kind of have her between your legs, and we're going to put her against the wall so that she's kind of got nowhere to go.
Knuckles, my pets.
Go ahead, sit down, baby. So we're going to get her to sit, and I'm going to get you to hold her head. That'll work. Okay, good girl, Knuckles. Good girl, baby. Hang on. Hang on, sweetheart. Hang on. Okay, one more. One more, baby. Hold still, honey. You're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. Okay, so now we've trimmed all the nails. None of the nails are bleeding, which is good. We didn't have to use the quick stop. And her nails are done on this paw. Good job, Knuckles. And you can zoom out, babe, to show both of us. Today I'm going to show you how to clip the claws on a cat. You need nail trimmers for a cat, and you also need a clotting agent, something like quick stop or silver nitrate. So you're going to tuck the cat under you so you've got a good firm hold on her. And you're going to extend one paw. You're going to use one hand to press out her claws. This camera can zoom in so you can see here. Now what you're looking for is the pink part. That's the quick. You don't want to cut that. It will bleed. If you do quick it, then you can just use your silver nitrate. But otherwise, you're just going to carefully trim the nails. Shh, good girl. You're almost done, baby. I'm sorry. I know. You're almost done. It's okay. Okay, just one more. The thumb is a little tricky sometimes. Okay, and that is how you trim the nails. I'm now going to be showing you how to administer solid oral medication to a dog. I have Knuckles here again as our subject. She's going to volunteer for us. So, obviously you're going to have your medication. This is not a real pill. This is just a small piece of dry food because she doesn't need any medication right now, but it's going to serve the same purpose. And then I also have here a small syringe filled with water. The purpose for this is you administer this after you give the pill, and that's to make sure that the pill gets washed down and doesn't get stuck in her esophagus and cause any kind of abrasions or anything like that. Some pills will do that. We don't want that to happen. All right, so the first thing you're going to do, I'm going to sit her down for this. Hey, baby. Go ahead, sit. Sit down. Good girl. Good girl. All right, I'm going to explain it first, so I'm not trying to talk and do it at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip her head up toward the ceiling. I'm going to use my left hand. I'm going to put it down between her eyes over the top of her head so that I can hold open her top jaw with that hand. And I'm going to use my right hand that also is holding the pill to pull down her bottom jaw. Now for the top and the bottom jaw, you're going to roll the lips in over the teeth. That's in case you had a dog that tried to bite you. You're not going to get quite as hard of a bite that way. Then I'm going to place the pill at the back of her tongue. I'm going to use one of my fingers to make sure it goes down her throat. And then I'm going to close her mouth with one of my hands, and I'm going to stroke her throat with the other hand to induce swallowing. Once I'm sure that she's swallowed the pill, I'm going to let her put her head back at a neutral angle, and then I'm going to administer the fluid in the corner of her mouth and make sure she drinks that. You want to make sure that her head is not pointing up with the fluid because you want to avoid the chance of her aspirating it and it getting into her lungs and her choking. So, all right, baby girl, we're going to do this. Go ahead, sit down, baby. Sit down. Sit down, girl. She's like, what are you doing? Sit down. Sit. Good girl. Good girl. I'm going to get behind her here. I'm going to put one hand over the top of her mouth and the other underneath. Good girl. This is going to go quick. So put it at the back of her throat, close her mouth, stroke her throat. Good girl. Make sure she swallows it. Good girl. All right, now I'm going to keep her head at a neutral angle. I'm going to put this in the corner of her mouth. Just make sure she drinks that. There we go. I am now going to demonstrate how to pill a cat with solid oral medication. This is my own cat, Shadow, here. She's going to be our subject for today. So, supplies are your medication. Obviously, this is not a real medication. This is just a small piece of their dry food that I'm going to use as a pill today. And then I have a syringe here filled with some water. This is the second part of the procedure. After you administer the solid oral medication, you just administer some fluid to help them swallow it and for the pill to not get stuck on their esophagus and cause any kind of tissue damage. All right, so I'm going to explain what I'm going to do before I do it. I'm going to place Pumpkin here in sternal recumbency. It's all right, you hold still. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip her head up with my hand. I'm going to open her mouth using both hands, making sure I have the pill already in one of my hands, ready to give to her. Once her mouth's open, I'm going to place the pill as far back on her tongue as I can, keeping her head pointed out towards the ceiling. Once I've done that, I'm going to use one of my hands to close her mouth, hold it shut while I stroke her throat and induce swallowing. When she starts licking her lips, that's usually a good indicator that she's swallowed the pill. So after that, I'm going to keep her in sternal recumbency like this, except I'm not going to have her head pointed toward the ceiling. I'm going to keep it at a neutral angle when I administer the fluid. The reason being, if her head is still pointing towards the ceiling when you give her the fluid, it could cause her to aspirate it, and you don't want her to do that. You don't want her to choke. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and begin. I'm going to keep a firm hold on her. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think I pinched your tail there. Go ahead and sit down. All right, I'm going to get the medicine in my dominant hand here. I'm going to open her mouth, place it as far back as I can, keep her mouth shut, stroke her chin, make sure that she swallows it and doesn't chew it. She's licking her lips. Good girl. All right, so she swallowed the pill. Now I'm going to keep her head at a neutral position and put this syringe at her lips and just administer a little bit of fluid. It's okay. There you go. Good girl. There. And that just ensures that the pill went down and didn't get stuck. And that is how you administer oral medication to a cat. So I'm going to show you how to collect a urine specimen from a dog. Have Knuckles here again. She's going to be our subject once again. So obviously you've got your animal that you need the specimen taken from. She's going to be on a leash. For dogs it's easy if you just take them out for a walk. You have your container, your sterile container ready. It helps if you have a lid because that's just easy for containment afterward. But basically we're just going to walk her until she feels like going. I'm going to wait to catch midstream because you don't want to put it under there for the first urine stream because that has some contaminants in it, whether it's fur or skin cells. If you catch it after that, there's less likelihood that there's going to be as many contaminants in there, and that's what you want to get for your sample. Good girl, Knuckles.
Good girl.
All right, you can see the urine in there, and I made sure to get it midstream after she'd already started urinating. So I'm just going to close it up. And in the clinic, you would just take this for your test that you wanted to do on it. I'm going to show you how to put on a gauze muzzle on a dog. This is in case you don't have a commercial muzzle available and the dog is maybe aggressive or nervous and you want to make sure that they're not going to bite if you have to do some kind of a procedure. Okay, so you start with a roll of gauze. It's non-adhesive, it's just regular cotton gauze. What I'm going to do, since she is a pretty decent sized dog, I'm going to use 2 wingspans, which are my arms spread out. For smaller dogs, you can just use 1. But you want to make sure you have enough. So this is pretty much just going to be the whole roll here, which is fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to tie 2 overhand knots in the middle of the gauze. And you're going to tighten them all the way. And this is just going to provide a little weight at the bottom of the muzzle for when you put it on. Okay, now the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the knot at the bottom. I'm going to place this under her snout, her muzzle, and then I'm going to cross it over the top one more time, bring it down underneath her jaw, and then back around her ears where I'm going to tie it in a bow. You want to make sure that it's tight enough that she won't be able to paw the loops off. And the reason for the bow in the back is in case you're dealing with a sick animal that maybe vomits while the muzzle is on, you don't want them to aspirate the vomit. If it was tied in a knot in the back, it would take too long to get it off. You want something quick, so a bow just allows you to pull it off really quick. I'm also going to show you how to remove it afterward. This is best to have 2 people because the dogs obviously don't like it when you're tying their mouth shut. So he's going to hold her head below. He's going to keep her head pointed up while I do this. And while you're doing this, you're going to keep your hands away from the muzzle as far as you can. Alright, so now I'm going to start another knot, but I'm not going to tie it all the way. I'm just creating a loop here. Alright, sweet girl, you ready? So Joanna, if you just want to hold her head, we're going to see if she'll... Good girl, good girl. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten the knot. I'm going to go under her ears. I'm going to tie it in a bow, pretty snug bow here behind her ears. Okay, and that is how you do a gauze muzzle. All right, and now to take it off, you just pull the bow, and you're going to walk off the gauze, which means you're going to keep your arms away as long as you can, and then you're just going to pull it off. You've kept your hands away from the dog's muzzle in case they want to bite. But yes, that's how you put on a gauze muzzle and take it off.